Magandang araw class! Welcome sa ating lesson. Ako si Engineer Belmana and today we will discuss one of the most important topics in engineering mechanics, the moment of a force using Varignon's theorem and how to get the resultant of parallel forces for different kinds of load, kasama na yung concentrated loads, triangular loads, rectangular loads at kahit combined loads tulad ng trapezoidal. Kaya ihanda nyo na ang inyong papel, calculator at mag-focus. Let's explore together how forces work and how we can simplify them into a single resultant. Let's start. Before tayo magpatuloy, kilalanin muna natin si moment. So yung technical definition niya is moment of a force is a measure of its tendency to cause. So take note that to cause a body to rotate about a specific point or axis, meaning moment is the turning effect. Okay? It's the turning effect. Turning effect of a force. Ito yung puwersa na kayang magpaikot ng isang bagay sa isang point o axis. From this formula, M equals F times D. F is the intensity of the applied force, like this one. It is measured in Newton. And D is the moment arm. It's the perpendicular distance from the line of action. This is the line of action. Papunta dito yung force. And ito yung distance na to na naka-perpendicular from the line of action of the force going to the point of rotation is called the moment arm or the distance D. Palagi yung perpendicular distance ha. Always remember that. And through this formula, we have concepts here to consider. The bigger the force F, if this force will increase, so may increase yan, the bigger the force, the stronger the turn. And if this distance increases too, the longer the distance is, the stronger the turn. Example, kapag gumagamit ka ng wrench para higpitan yung bolt, ito, kung mahaba ang wrench, kung mahaba ito, mas madali mong mapapaikot ang bolt. Kung maikli ang wrench, mas mahirap naman. So, mas mahaba ang moment arm, mas malaki ang turning effect. That's the concept of moment and moment arm in action. Well, moment is measured in Newton meter if international system ang gagamitin at pound-foot naman pag English system. Then huwag kang ma-confuse dito kung sa ibang aklat yung counterclockwise is negative and yung clockwise is positive. Depende kasi yun sa gumagawa ng problem, kaya make sure na basahin ng mabuti ang problem kasi palagi yung magsasabing assume clockwise as positive or di kaya negative. And I assure naman na kahit anong assumption na gagamitin mo, lalabas pa rin ang tamang answer. Pero take note, again, dito sa ating lesson, we will use this assumption. Clockwise, negative, and yung counterclockwise as positive. Let's review for a moment ang concept na ito. As we have discussed, forces can be expressed in terms of X and Y components. Pero, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng components? Components are simply the parts of a force in different directions. Halimbawa, ito si force A. Meron siyang two parts. Pwede natin itong force na ito, itong force A na ito, pwede nating i-break down siya into two simpler forces. One horizontal as X and one vertical as Y. So, instead of solving force A directly, hinahati natin siya into simpler forces para mas madali nating makita kung ilan ba yung intensity ng force A. So, ito, tinatawag silang X and Y components. Kung pagsasamahin natin sila ulit, babalik sila sa original na inclined force which is the force A. So para makuha natin yung x and y components, ginagamit natin ang dalawang formulas na ito. At itong una, gagamitin mo ito, as you can see, yung f of y natin dito is the cosine theta. Dito naman sa kabila, yung f of x natin ay gumagamit ng cosine theta. So, wag kang ma-confused kasi nakabase ito kung saan natin minimeasure yung angle. Kapag yung angle ay na-measure mula sa y-axis, katulad ni force A, yung f of y natin ay gagamit ng cosine. At yung f of x naman natin ay gagamit ng sine. And dito naman sa kabila, dahil yung angle natin ay nagmula sa x, yung f of x natin or yung component x natin ay gagamit ng cosine. And sine naman para sa fy. So, madali nating matatandaan kasi kung saan nagmula ang angle, doon ang cosine. Sa kabila naman yung sine. So, always remember, components are just the building blocks of a force in x and y directions. This will help us a lot sa pag-compute ng moments at sa paggamit ng Varignon's theorem. So algebraically, Varignon's theorem states that the moment of a force about a point is equal to the sum of the moment of its components about the same point. Madali lang itong intindihin class kasi it states that, for example, this force F, yung moment ni force F makukuha natin kapag pinag-add natin yung moment ng kanyang x component na si Fx at ang moment ng kanyang Fy. So alam naman natin na yung m is equal to force times d. So sa pagkuha ng moment ni x component, kailangan nating i-multiply yung force ng x component sa dy. Bakit dy? Because dy is the only perpendicular distance from the line of action ni force Fx papuntang point of rotation. Ganon din sa kay Fy. Let us apply Varignon's theorem geometrically. May isang way sa pagkuha ng moment. So yun, the moment of a force about a point is equal to twice the area of the triangle formed by the force and its moment arm. This statement is this. To get the moment, kailangang i-multiply mo ng twice ang area ng triangle. Itong 2 na to ay yung ating pang-convert papunta from area going to moment. For example, we have here the force R. So, kung gagawa tayo ng triangle papuntang point O, si force R ang magiging base natin. At ang perpendicular distance na si D ang magiging height natin. Kung i-apply natin yung Varignon's theorem, si force R, if i-break down natin siya, meron siyang dalawang components na F2 and F1. Si F2, ito yung kanyang Y component at si F1 yung X component niya. At pwede rin natin silang gawan ng kani-kanilang triangle going to point O. So, this concept ay ma-apply natin sa Varignon's theorem. Yung area, yung total area ni force R, makukuha natin by adding the area of its components. Pero huwag kalimutan na maglagay ng 2 dahil para ma-convert natin from the area of the triangle going to the moment. So, kung ating i-substitute, ito na ang magiging itsura niya. And so, cancel out lahat ng 2. So, same as true, it proves that the moment of force R is just equal to the sum of the moments of its components. So, this proves Varignon's theorem. Same as, pareho lang sa sinabi niyang M is equal to the moment of the X component plus the moment of the y component. Let's have example number 1. Let's apply Varignon's theorem to find the moment that these forces in the diagram exerts about point A. So remember, dito sa ating lesson, yung clockwise is negative and yung counterclockwise is positive. So look at here, we have 3 forces, force E, force D, and force C. Listen, si force D pwede nating ma-ignore. Why? Kasi in-apply siya along the moment arm. Its line of action is along the moment arm, so walang mangyayaring rotation. Pero sina C, force C at force E ay mayroong rotation kasi si moment arm ay naka-perpendicular sa kanila. Gets? So dito muna tayo kay force C. Dahil inclined siya, kailangan natin ang tulong ng kanyang mga components. So sina X component at saka si Y component ni force C. So ito yung yung X component ni force C. Huwag kayong malito dahil dito lang yan siya nanggaling. So we moved this component going here, head to tail, same lang rin yan ang impact niya. At saka yung Y niya is originally nandito nanggaling. Pero i-move natin yan papunta dito. Okay? So para makuha natin si CY, okay, wait lang. Si CX ay i-ignore na rin natin kasi along the moment arm din siya. So walang rotation na nangyayari. Si CY lang ang ating kukunin ang kanyang intensity. So para makuha natin si CY, kailangan nating i-multiply ito sa cosine. So cosine ang gagamitin natin dahil si angle 30 degrees ay nagmula sa y-axis. So remember, moment is equals to force times d and the d is perpendicular distance. So ito na ngayon ang ating formula para makuha natin yung moment at point A. So hanapin muna natin si force CY. So si force CY, negative siya kasi kung titingnan natin, if i-apply siya, this force will cause the moment arm to turn into clockwise direction. So sabi natin clockwise is negative. Then multiply it to cosine 30 degrees. Multiply again to its perpendicular distance na 0.5 meter. Ito namang si force E, dahil hindi naman siya naka-inclined, i-consider lang natin kung anong direction ng rotation ang pwedeng mangyari. So kung i-move natin siya, if i-apply natin, itong moment arm ay magro-rotate going to counterclockwise. So it's positive, then multiply 70 Newton with its perpendicular distance na 0.5 meter. Ang makukuha natin ay negative 94.90. Ang meaning ng negative is going clockwise. So pwede nyong kunin ang negative kung isusulat nyo ng katulad nito. 94.90 and then inyong lagyan ng label na ang direction nito ay clockwise. So same lang ang ibig sabihin nila. So let's have example number 2. We will apply the Varignon's theorem to determine how much moment is being exerted by this force at point B. As you can see and as you can remember, kapag clockwise, negative, kapag counterclockwise naman ay positive. We have here only one force and it is inclined force, 200 pounds. Para makuha natin yung kanyang moment, kailangan nating i-extract yung kanyang X and Y components. So, ito yung kanyang X component, si AX, at ang kanyang Y component, si AY. So, itong dalawang force na ito ay kailangan nating i-consider kasi meron silang kanilang perpendicular distances. Si AY ay may perpendicular distance na 36 inches from the point P at si AX naman ay mayroong perpendicular distance na 24 inches with respect to point B. So si AX, dito tayo magsimula. Kukunin natin kung ilan ang intensity or ang force ni AX. To get the force AX, kailangan nating i-multiply ito sa cosine theta. Bakit cosine theta? Kasi yung angle 20 degrees natin is measured from the x-axis. That's why it is 200 cosine theta. And bakit positive si AX? Dahil kapag i-apply na siya, it will cause this object to rotate going to counterclockwise direction. Si AY naman, positive rin dahil kapag i-apply mo, it will cause the object to rotate in a counterclockwise direction. 200 sine 20 degrees times 36 inches. So this mathematical sentence will result to 6,973.1 pound-inch or 581.1 pound-foot.